we get a monetary value of just how much we are getting from Xbox Game Pass, and Assassin's Creed Origins looks to be getting a 60 FPS patch. So jumping over here to a very interesting article, and it has to do with just the amount of value you get out of Xbox Game Pass. And it looks like in 2021, the amount of games that we got reportedly were worth over $6,300. And the value is going to continue to increase, especially as Xbox starts to continuously put out their first party games. So it's pretty interesting because they give us actually a breakdown of like the most expensive months and the least expensive month. So the most expensive month was March 2021, and the least expensive month, or the least worth month, was April 2021. So looking here at March's releases that we got, it does make sense why this month had so much value to it. First, there's Outriders. As we know, that was a huge drop that nobody really saw coming, because they announced Outriders was coming to Game Pass day and date just like a week or two or so or something like that, just before the game came out. And it was a game early on in the year that people were excited for, because there hadn't been any huge releases yet really on either next generation console by March, and people were looking for something new to play. Outriders was getting kind of hyped up, and then it came day one on Game Pass, and it was a lot of fun. It was a game that I played through the entire campaign of and had a great time playing it. On top of Outriders, you have Octopath Traveler, which I believe is still a decently expensive game. Star Wars Squadrons, which at that time was probably up there. Nier Automata, I'm not sure how much that one is worth now, but I feel like when that came out onto Game Pass on PC, there was some value to it. You had Narita Boy, which was a day one game and one of my favorite games of the year. I absolutely loved it. It was a really, really cool indie game. So there's definitely a lot of value just within this picture, but that wasn't it, because further on in the month of March, we are also getting these sports games here, which obviously when they come out later on, they're not worth nearly as much as when they are first released. But you had NBA 2K21, NHL 21, and Madden 21, and they were still within their year of the release. Like, it was still the current version of the game. And then you still have the Football Manager games, which are huge games that I feel like not a lot of people know how big of a release that is for Xbox Game Pass for that crowd that loves the Football Manager games. Then you look at April. Now, this is the least expensive month, and again, you look at these games and it makes sense. The biggest one here, again, this was, you remember back in April how big of an announcement this was that MLB The Show 21, a previous PlayStation exclusive, was making its way on to Xbox Game Pass, the competitor platform and the competitor service, a day and date that it was released. And if you were on PlayStation, if you've been a loyal fan to the show, previously a PlayStation exclusive, you had to go out and pay full price for the game. I still remember that announcement, and it was crazy because I really wanted to play the show. I've always enjoyed MLB The Show, and it was really my only option was to play it on PlayStation. Being able to get this on Xbox now is awesome, and getting on Game Pass is even better. I wonder what they're going to do this year, if the same thing is going to happen with MLB The Show 22. And then the second announcement here, as you can see, and then the second announcement for April, as you can see, again, not very valuable games in terms of monetary value. The other, I guess, big one here would be maybe Second Extinction, because it was in game preview, so we were getting our first look at it. And I mean, from that list, that's pretty much it. All the rest are older games, and you could probably pick up for relatively cheap if you just wanted to get that game by itself. But pretty interesting there. Will be cool to see how 2022 improves on it. I think the value will probably go up, to be completely honest, because we're going to be getting some big first-party games. Developers are seeing the value in Game Pass to get their game out there for people to see. We've heard that sales go up when they put their game on Game Pass, especially if it's a game that takes off and a game that people would have never heard of if it wasn't for this service. So 2022 is very exciting, and I can't wait to see what we get out of this year. So one of the games that a lot of people have been clamoring for to get the 60 FPS boost has been Assassin's Creed Origins. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has it, obviously Assassin's Creed Valhalla has it, and they're all really great games within the Assassin's Creed series. I know a lot of people think they're too long, or they just don't put the time into it and they just kind of criticize the game itself, but I've absolutely loved the last three Assassin's Creed games. I've put so much time into Valhalla, And I'm going back actually right now and playing through the Odyssey DLC with the smooth 60 frames per second. And it is such a joy of a game to play. The gameplay is really good. The environment, everything is beautiful. And I played Origins when it first came out as well. The first entry into like the new RPG style of Assassin's Creed games. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the setting. I love the characters, the weapons, and all that kind of stuff within Assassin's Creed Origins. And I'm really happy to see here that they are finally going to be working on the AC Origins 60 FPS patch. And I think a lot of people will be happy to see that, because when that drops, I think I will be jumping in and playing through the DLC for Origins. And this is just more support for the Assassin's Creed games. It's really cool to see how they continue to support even these older ones, because we've been getting DLC still for Odyssey, as there's that crossover quest as you can go and play right now. They announced a brand new like 35-hour DLC coming to Assassin's Creed Valhalla in the future in March, I believe. That sounds really cool. And hey, if they bring a 60 FPS patch and support to Origins, maybe we'll be getting some more crossover quests. Maybe they'll bring over new content to Origins, a game that is multiple years old right now. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about the value that we are seeing on Xbox Game Pass, and are you excited for Assassin's Creed Origins 60 FPS patch? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw throughout this video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Help this channel grow, help grow this community, so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.
Bye.